This is such a wonderful celebration, 10 years of this incredible work that so many of you have been engaged in over the years. A dedication, an act of love for the community, for the children that you tutor and you mentor, a real act of kindness, reaching out, really understanding what it is that makes our children successful. It's not because we just scream at them and tell them that they got to do better or kind of put them out there on their own. It's creating a support network, it's creating a foundation, helping them make sure that they're where they need to be when they need to be there. Learning to read and being at the appropriate grade level by second and third grade is so fundamental to their ultimate success. And it's so simple in some ways and so incredibly difficult in others. It takes a lot of work. And it can't be just the teachers in the classroom. I think if there's one thing that disturbs me about the conversation about education in America right now is we want to point our fingers at people. We want to blame folks. We want to say, well, it's the parents' fault, or it's the teacher's fault, or it's the child's fault. But instead of blaming, and the wonderful thing about the Learning Center is the finger is pointed at ourselves. The finger is pointed at each of us, by each of us, to say, what role can I play in helping our children succeed? How can I take my time and provide a child just a little extra learning to really be tracking where they need to be throughout the course of the school year? If you think about this program and the hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of kids that have participated in this over the last 10 years, think about not just those individual children, but now a lot of those kids are now in high school, maybe even graduating from high school if you think about the very first children that you start to work with. And it's not too long, hopefully they're going to go off to college, and not too long before they start raising their families of their own. So every one of those children that you touch, every one of those children that you help move forward and become a successful adult, the ripple effect, the multiplier effect, is taking those thousands of children and adding, doubling it or tripling it or quadrupling it all through the line. So you touch so many lives through those hours that you give to that individual child. But this idea and this concept is really underlying the work that we're doing in the city, to take ownership of out-of-school time for our children, to extend the learning day, again, to reinforce the lessons of what's happening in the school system, not to just say, well, again, it's the school's fault, and if they're not doing their job, that there's nothing else that we can do. Our schools are really strong in the city of St. Paul. But we know that our children come with a multitude of problems, they come with a multitude of challenges, and so every ounce that we can give them, every additional hour of tutoring, every moment that you can spend with them to help spark an interest, to really help get their creative juices going, makes just a tremendous difference. That's why last week, some of you may have been with us as we launched Sprockets. That's a funny name for a program from the city, but we always say it's kid-tested, kid-approved. And basically all it is to say, we have this wonderful resource across the city of St. Paul, organizations like the Eastside Learning Center, that allow us to extend the learning day. Not just for some children, but if we pool our resources, really every child in the city of St. Paul will have an opportunity to participate in a quality out-of-school time program, which will make the difference. I always talk about it from the standpoint of, I call it the 10 single most important things that you can do to help our children. And one of those 10 single most important things to do is the extension of the learning day. There are so many studies that show that that extra 4 or 5 hours a week or so makes a fundamental difference between a child not only learning and being at grade level throughout the course of their years in grade school, but graduating from high school on time, going on to a post-secondary